All right. Going live here in just a second. Just going to make sure the sound is working. All right. Well, excited to go through this live stream today. Trying to get back to putting out more content on scaling home service companies and scaling franchise companies. A lot of my audience are home service franchise business owners, as well as um, franchisors that want to scale their franchise systems, and regular business owners that want to scale their business. And so today, what I really wanted to talk about was creating culture and winning teams within your company. And so, really, I wanted to share some of the findings that I've had in leading companies for over a decade now, multiple different companies, and really what I feel like my core skill is, which is creating a culture for for winning teams, teams that work well together, that want to work together, that enjoy their work, that end up providing an exceptional experience to the customer because they love the work that they're doing. And so, really the way that you build any team is understanding that you need to fuel the future together. You need to build a company where people want to work together. If you think winning is going to come from doing something alone, no matter how smart, hardworking, intelligent you are, you will usually or almost always lose to a team, to a strong team that has put together 5, 6, 10, 20, 100 great people that all are smart, all work hard, all share those same attributes. It's going to be very difficult to beat a team of 10 strong people as just one. So I'm a really big believer in the saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And so the emphasis of building any company is it's all about the people and building the people. So I'm pretty fired up to talk about this around because when you're running a business, you're not just running a business, you're building teams of people that all share in a common vision. And so to start, what I always like to remind anyone of is your real job as a CEO or as a business owner is five things. It comes down to five things. And these five things are: you have to be able to cast a vision. You have to get people to see that vision clearly, as clear as you see it. I always like to think if we were on a rowboat and we were all rowing towards shore, and you can get people to see the island that you're rowing to. Maybe only you can see it because you have a telescope or something, but you have to get people so aligned that they see that they're going in the right direction so that they all end up rowing in the right direction. When you think about a boat, you need to get the right people on the boat in the right seats, right? So if someone's a certain type of rower, they're going to be in the back. Someone different is going to be in the front. But think about how fast you would go if everyone's rowing in the right seat, the right people are rowing, and they're rowing in the same direction. Just one person rowing the wrong way is drastically going to slow down your boat, right? And so, as a leader, your first job is to create a vision and cast that vision. Your second job is to secure buy-in. You have to get that team bought into this vision. So, for example, if I thought that the island was this way, I would first listen to all of the other teammates and understand their perspective and get them each bought into that this is the direction we're going. Right. If you don't have buy-in, then you're already missing something very important. And so you need to cast a vision and then you need to secure buy-in. After you secure buy-in, your job as a leader is to provide resources, right? So utilizing the boat analogy, if you don't have people with the right rowers, and you don't have them equipped with water, you don't have them equipped with the right resources, they're not going to be able to achieve the goal, right? And so you have to think about, how do I set up my team to win? Whether that's financial resources, intellectual resources, tools like technology, um, schedule. You have to give them the proper resources. And then four, you need to really be a cheerleader. You have to be rowing. You have to be cheering your rowers on in this analogy, and you have to hold people accountable. If you're building a system and you're not holding people accountable to expectations and standards, that's an issue too. So while you're a cheerleader celebrating the wins and the small wins, you have to also hold people accountable when they're not holding up to the standard. And so creating alignment around vision, mission, and values really is key. It's about real alignment. And to do that, you really have to communicate your vision, mission, and values over and over. They say it takes people 7 times to even hear something. You have to be communicating your vision via written form, letters, Teams messages, emails. You have to be communicating it through social media posts, through phone calls, through conferences, through every meeting. You should be reminding everyone of the core vision, the mission, and the values, and celebrating your team's demonstrations of these core values. Example, in our company, every week we do a shout out to teammates for living in our core values with specific examples of how they shared in the core value. So as a leader, you have to almost sound like a broken record, just constantly hammering in the vision, the mission, and the values. That is how you're going to help get people to see where you're going. And so one of the keys to doing this, first of all, is creating teams that want to work together. And so I know it sounds cliche, but the first thing you have to do is you have to get the team to love each other. You have to get the team to want to be together. And you foster this through group activities, working out together, spending time with each other where you're just doing something outside of work. You have to hire people that are all sharing in the mission. They believe in the mission. They share in the core values. But the way that you get people to believe in the culture, it's not beanbag chairs in the office or hot tubs or gym memberships. It's creating a culture where people want to be around each other and they respect each other. One of the ways that we do this at Voda and Franchise Playbook, and I've always done in companies, is you need to create an environment where first people are psychologically safe, right? They feel safe in their job and they know that sharing their feedback openly and honestly won't create a rift, right? For example, if you're leading a company and your teammates bring feedback, you need to be open to the feedback. Your best feedback is going to come from the front lines, the people closest to the problems. And so what you have to do is you have to start as the leader by creating an environment where you give feedback in a respectful, caring way, and that you receive feedback in the same way. The response to feedback, there's only one response to feedback, and that response is thank you. Right? Feedback is a gift. And so whenever people are giving it to you, as long as it's given in a constructive, respectful manner, I don't care if you're the janitor. You give me feedback, it's great feedback. Every feedback, even if you consider it wrong, they have a perspective why they feel this way. And so the more that you can solicit feedback from your team and give it, the better. You need to create teams where, in my opinion, junior people speak first. So if I'm in a room, I love the Jeff Bezos analogy. If I'm in a meeting, ideally it's enough people, not too many people. It's no more than 2 pies of pizza. So 8, 9, 10 people in a meeting, and we're sharing ideas communicatively and collaboratively. And so in my examples, if I'm in a meeting, I want to hear the opinion of the junior people first, the people closest to the problem, then the management, then middle management, then perhaps I'll chime in. Because first of all, people are going to they're going to change, typically subconsciously or consciously, they're going to change their answer when they hear their boss has an opinion. You want to hear those unbiased opinions first, and then you get to a final decision. But when teams make a decision together where everyone has shared their opinion, that's first of all how you create buy-in. And it doesn't mean that we're going to go in one direction or another. Everyone's going to share their opinion, and then the group will make the decision together. Now, if I don't agree with a decision that the company makes together, but the overwhelming majority of the company does believe in it, then I'm going to buy in. I'm going to share my opinions. I'm going to share my thoughts. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, and I'm going to commit to it. Same for other teammates. They're going to share their feedback on why something doesn't work. And then at the end of the day, if the company decides that direction, the group decides that's the direction we're going, they're going to buy in. And they're going to forget that they were against it because the company's decided that. And so it's this healthy balance of creating an environment where people are sharing their opinions, they're being caringly candid, they're giving feedback, and then the company's making a decision. I highly recommend junior people speak first. Another way is healthy teams, they fight respectfully, right? They're quick to conflict and they challenge each other. We don't want a bunch of yes men and women in the company. We want people that are going to share their opinion. They're going to be passionate about their opinion. They're going to share different perspectives. You will always make a better decision when you have all of the information from a team. One of the ways that we do this that I love is just constant feedback seeking. We're seeking feedback at a constant basis, whether it's our feedback at my Voda email address, surveying customers, reviewing reviews, asking franchise partners their opinion on things, asking technicians their opinion on things, asking teammates their opinion on things, constantly soliciting feedback is how you're going to get to the best answers. As I've always said, the best answers lay within your customers. They have the answers if you just listen. And so one of the ways that I like to do this is I like to ask people, give me your feedback. What's something in the company that we're doing that's brilliant that we should never stop doing? What's something silly that we're doing that if it changed, it would make your job way easier or more effective, or the customer's experience way more effective? A lot of times these simple little things could be changed. And if you do enough of them, thousands of them, 1% better every day, that's how you build a great company. The devil's in the details. But a lot of times there's times where something's going on in your company that's such an easy shift that can make a dramatic impact on the business. I'll give you an example. I had a teammate, let's say they had to be at the office at 8 a.m. When they leave their house, it's crazy traffic, so they have to leave at 7 a.m. to get there at 8. Well, if they left at 8, they could be there at 8:30, right? Because there's let's say there was no traffic. Maybe they could even be there at 8:15. Well, it seems a little crazy to sit in an hour of traffic to get to work at 8 o'clock. It's an hour wasted, making the job hard, having to commute an hour. Whereas if they left at 8, they could be there at 8:15. So maybe you just change the time to 8:15. Say, hey, would you consider from 7:30 to 8:15, you work from home, get your emails, administrative stuff done, and then you just have to sit in the car for 15 minutes. Maybe we push the time back to 8:15 or 8:30 even. Isn't that a better situation? Instead of having your teammate drive an hour and maybe on the way back, it's the same situation. It's these little shifts that can make a huge difference by just listening. What are we doing that's great in the company that we should never stop doing? And what's something in the company that's silly that you could change tomorrow? Soliciting that feedback and getting as much input as possible is going to make a huge difference that way. So really building a culture centers around casting a vision, securing buy-in, providing resources, holding people accountable, being a cheerleader, and then doing all that while also having your junior people speak first, having your teams contribute their opinions, understanding that to go fast, you're going to go alone, to go far, you go together, understanding that the best ideas are going to come from your customers and that feedback is a gift. The only answer to feedback is thank you, not defensiveness. You can share your opinion, but you want to create an environment where people are comfortable giving feedback. If I gave you feedback and you're defensive, I'm going to stop giving you feedback. And keep in mind, if someone's not giving you feedback, like if I'm not giving you feedback, that's an issue. It means that, like, if I'm giving you feedback, I care about you. If I kept giving you feedback and your response is just constant defensiveness and excuse, that's not how you create an environment where people want to give you feedback. Feedback's a gift. And if you get a gift and you say all these negatives about the gift, no one's going to give you a gift anymore, right? Whereas if you get a gift and you say thank you, people will give you that gift more. You want more feedback. There's nothing wrong with feedback when it's delivered in a respectful and polite way. When you get feedback, it hurts for a second, but then you can solve something for the rest of your life, right? And so feedback in the environment is important. Quick to conflict in the company is important. Teams that trust each other, that can be candid. We call it caringly candid, meaning I care about you, so I want to be candid. This is how you build a company where people actually want to work. It's not the hot tubs or the day off or the kegs at the office. That's what's creating actual culture. Is people get the ability to communicate their thoughts and be heard. It's really interesting when you ask people when you hire great people, give them a problem, something like an exciting problem to chew on and to work on, and then give them the resources and the freedom to solve it and let them come back and solve it. The last thing I'll share is when we're creating, solutions, I always ask people, give me the 1-3-1. Give me your problem, the 3 solutions you think could solve it, and the one you would go with. And I would tell you that after a few months working at Voda, everyone starts to think the same around our core values, mission, and vision. And they start to have that one solution be the one that we should go with every time. And so people don't come to us just with problems. They come to us with problems, potential solutions, and the one that they think they should go with. And more times than not, outside a bit of coaching, they're going to go with that decision. Don't coach transactionally. Don't lead transactionally. You want to lead transformationally, getting people to think the way that you want them to think by coaching them, asking them great questions, and allowing them to come to the outcomes themselves, and allowing them to make mistakes sometimes and learn from it. That's what you want. You want people making mistakes, failing fast, learning and growing in your organization. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next live stream.